Hi everyone, and thanks for joining me for this webinar about running an incorporated association. My name is Bianca Williams and I'm a Senior Project Officer with the Community Engagement Team at New South Wales Fair Trading. In this video, we'll be taking you through the essentials of running an incorporated association. When running an incorporated association, you need to adhere to the rules set out under the Associations Incorporations Act 2009 and the Associations Incorporation Regulation 2022. It's important to point out that this is general information and is not to be considered as legal interpretation or legal advice. New South Wales Fair Trading acknowledges the traditional custodians of the lands where we work and live. We celebrate the diversity of Aboriginal peoples and their ongoing cultures and connections to the lands and waters of New South Wales. We extend that acknowledgement of respect to the custodians for the lands on which you're watching this webinar. During this session, we'll cover what's involved in running an association meetings, financial obligations, and how to resolve disputes within an incorporated association. To learn more about how to start an incorporated association, you can watch our Starting an Incorporated Association video. To jump to different sections of this webinar, you can select the second icon from the right on the presenter video, where you'll find a list of all the topics we'll discuss today. The constitution of an incorporated association is a contract between the association and its members, who agree to adhere to the provisions outlined in the constitution. It provides the structure for how the association operates, and every incorporated association must have a constitution. An association can adopt the model which is set out under Schedule 1 of the Associations Incorporation Act 2009, or adopt its own constitution, setting out specific requirements that suit the association's individual needs. If an association adopts its own constitution, the Constitution must address each of the matters referred to in Schedule 1 of the Associations Incorporations Act 2009. The terms of the Constitution act as a contract between the members and the associations, so it's important to get them right and ensure everyone agrees on them. Any disputes about the terms of the Constitution are not within fair trading's jurisdiction, but civil matters that require independent legal advice. Schedule 1 of the Associations Incorporations Act 2009 sets out the Constitution, which is where you can start to be quite specific about your association. Some examples may include membership. Will any qualifications be required? Noting that it is not generally considered to be discriminatory to have a group for specific genders or cultures, as long as the requirements are clear and consistent, like men's sheds. Fees. A fee schedule does not need to be specified in your constitution. It can note that annual membership fees will be set at the AGM. Liabilities. As noted previously, there is limited liability for members as long as you are acting in good faith and with due diligence. Disciplining of members. Having clear and consistent processes will help protect the committee. Internal disputes. Again, have clear and consistent processes, plus there may be support through mediation available from community justice centres. Funds. Will membership funds be enough, or do you need grants, funding, or sponsorship? Financial year. Do you want to stay with the July to June, or would it suit your group to go with the calendar year or another starting month? Books. Who keeps custody of the books? How and where are they kept, in hard copy or online? Winding up. Any assets left when an association winds up need to go to a group with a similar purpose or objects. Committee. Set out to the composition, terms of office, and how to fill vacancies. Quorum. Model says committee is 3. General meetings. How will you give notice? Post, email, or notice board? Procedure will vary depending on the size and the scope of your association. Quorum. Model says 5, but you may want to consider if this is enough depending on the size of your membership. If an association provides for it in its constitutions, meetings may be held across two or more venues using technology that enables members to participate. The annual general meeting, also referred to as an AGM, are compulsory and must be held within 6 months of the close of the association's financial year. Specific business should be conducted at this time, such as presenting the annual statements and electing committee members. The Constitution must set out the procedures for calling and conducting committee meetings. General meetings may specify the number of meetings to be held. A general meeting can sometimes be referred to as a special general meeting, ordinary general meeting, or an extraordinary general meeting. The management committee should meet as often as necessary to properly manage the affairs of the association and can decide if those meetings are opened or closed to members and/or guests. The Constitution should specify the eligibility of members to vote. The Model Constitution says one member, one vote. However, it does not contain any provisions for proxy voting. If you want to include proxy votes, then this would need to be provided for in your Constitution. Most decisions will be passed by way of an ordinary resolution, a simple majority of valid votes in favour of the motion, remembering that major or structural changes need to be decided by special resolution. The Constitution can also provide for your association to vote on resolutions by means of a postal, electronic, or combined ballot. The Model Constitution provides that decisions can be determined by means of a postal, electronic, or combined ballot, and if an association is conducting a postal ballot, then it must be conducted in accordance with the procedure set out in the association's regulation, Schedule 2 of the regulation. The formality of meeting procedures will vary depending on the nature of activities, the size of the organisation, and what's in the Constitution. We know that a notice of meeting must be given to the members. For example, the Secretary may send a notice to each member specifying the place, date, and time of the meeting and the nature of the business to be conducted. This will usually be the agenda for the meeting. At an AGM, the business will normally be confirming the minutes of the previous AGM and any other special general meetings held since the last meeting, receive reports on the various activities, receive the financial statements. This will usually be the agenda for the meeting. At an AGM, the business will normally be confirming the minutes of the previous AGM and any other special general meetings held since the last meeting, receive reports on the various activities, receive the financial statements, elect office bearers and ordinary members of the committee, any other business of which notice has been given to the members. Meetings usually have a chair who presides at the meeting. This person exercises control as needed and enables the function and purpose of the meeting to be fulfilled in an orderly manner. The chair should ensure the stipulated quorum requirements are met before the meeting may commence or validly transact business. Motions are proposals put to a meeting that usually require a vote for the proposal to be acted upon. A resolution is a motion that has passed, the decision of the body. Remember that in an association, certain matters require a special resolution to be passed by the members. Notice and voting requirements must be met for special resolutions to be passed. Members should know exactly what it is they are voting on and be clear on who is eligible to vote and how the vote will occur. Records need to be kept. The secretary, if the association has one, is usually responsible for taking the minutes or recording what happens at the meeting. It's important that the meeting record is clear as to what needs to be done and by whom after the meeting, and the minutes are shared out in a reasonable time frame. Tier 1 total revenue exceeds 250,000 or current assets exceed 500,000. Financial statements must be audited prior to being presented to members. The annual summary of financial affairs needs to be lodged with fair trading. A copy of the audited financial statements, any resolutions passed concerning the statements, and the audit report needs to be provided to fair trading. Tier 2, total revenue under 250,000 or assets under $500,000. No requirement from fair trading for financial statements to be audited. Financial statements must be presented to members. Annual summary of financial affairs need to be lodged with fair trading, with declarations regarding financial thresholds and number of members. An association that is also registered as a charity with the Australian Charities and Non-for-Profits Commission, the ACNC, may take advantage of an exemption to not lodge financial reporting documents with New South Wales Fair Trading. Instead, these ACNC registered associations must submit an annual information statement and, if applicable, an annual financial report and a reviewer's report or auditor's report to the ACNC. The ACNC will share this information with fair trading. Despite this exemption, all financial statements must still be prepared as required under the Associations Incorporations Act 2009 and submitted to members at the association's AGM. For a Tier 1 association, this would include preparing and providing an audit report. The committee must maintain records, and if kept in a language other than English, a copy in English must also be kept. The committee must ensure that records are clear and transparent with sufficient detail to explain the association's financial transactions and enable financial statements to be prepared and presented to members at the AGM. Minutes of all meetings must be kept. The minutes should provide a summary of the proceedings and accurately record the matters discussed or issues raised and any decision that was made. Recording this information ensures future committees are able to track decision making and, where necessary, provide an understanding for what may have been controversial or unpopular decisions. Several registers must also be kept, and these include committee members, name, date, commenced office, and date office vacated. The Act requires that this register be kept in either electronic or physical form. If kept in physical form, this register can be kept at the main premises of the association or at the association's official address. Disclosed interest. If a committee member has a direct or indirect interest in any matter that is being considered by the committee and it appears that it may lead to a conflict of interest, then the interest must be disclosed and recorded in a book or register kept for this purpose. The committee member, having disclosed an interest, should then remove him or herself from decision making in relation to that matter. The record must be kept with the register of committee members and must also be available for inspection by any members. And of course, a registration of the association's members must be maintained. A record of authorised signatories, as previously mentioned. The authorised signatories are the people appointed to sign official documents on behalf of the association. And the association is required to have at least two, one of whom will be the public officer. The association can appoint additional authorised signatories, and these people may or may not be the same people to carry out banking or financial transactions on behalf of the association. Once again, all records which belong to the association must stay with the association, and when a committee member ceases to be a member, then the records must be given to the public officer within 14 days of vacating the position. The public officer is then responsible for ensuring those documents are in turn given to the new committee members. A frequently asked question is, how long should associations keep their records? The Act requires financial records to be kept for a minimum of 5 years after they were made. However, it's important to be mindful of the other legislative requirements. For example, associations with employees have to keep time and wage records for 7 years. Some documents should be kept indefinitely, such as the minutes of meetings, which could be thought of as the association's memory. Associations are now able to seek a review of certain decisions made by fair trading. For example, where fair trading rejects proposed association name or directs an association to change its name as it was deemed unacceptable. An association can appeal the decision by first applying for an internal review within fair trading. If unsuccessful, the association may then apply to the New South Wales Civil and Administrative Tribunal, or NCAT, for an administrative review. Cancellation. An association may come to the end of its life for many reasons. Fair trading may cancel an association's registration if it does not comply with its statutory obligations, or the most likely and preferred outcome is that the members may decide to cancel the association's registration. Just remember that you went through a process to form and register the association and therefore must go through a process to cancel its registration. Where there are issues of declining membership, it's also an option to consider amalgamating with another similar group. Information on amalgamating, cancelling, or closing associations is available on Fair Trading's website. Public register. Documents lodged with Fair Trading are kept on a public register and for a fee will be made available to interested parties. This information includes the name of the public officer, the incorporation documents, the constitution, and the association's annual statements. We often receive calls from people concerned about the way the association is operating. It frequently involves a dispute about the constitution. Fair trading does not have the authority to intervene in disputes concerning the association's constitution. The terms of the Constitution act as a contract between the members and the associations, so it's important to get them right and ensure everyone agrees on them. Disputes about the terms of the Constitution are not within fair trading's jurisdiction, but civil matters that require independent legal advice. The association, through the committee and its members, must ensure it's operating appropriately. It is a matter for the association to interpret the Constitution, and if it becomes apparent that a particular part of the Constitution may be ambiguous, then it is up to the association to resolve it. It is important to ensure that changes to the association's constitution have been registered, as changes are only valid upon registration. The first thing should be to refer to the Constitution for direction and/or clarification. Consider the problem itself and the ramifications of acting or not acting. Communicate with other members and seek their support. Communicate with the committee in the manner specified in the Constitution to give them the opportunity to resolve the problem. Seek mediation. This is usually part of the Constitution. Ultimately, it may be necessary to seek legal advice, or it may result in you leaving the association. When deciding what to do, always act in the best interests of the association. All the information an association may need is available on Fair Trading's website. Go to the association's page. More detailed information on the topics presented today is available by way of a series of web pages and information sheets, which you are free to download. If you don't have access to the internet, please call the Service New South Wales Registry Services team on 1800 502 042. All the forms you'll need during the life of your association are also available on the website. If you would like to obtain a copy of the Act or the regulation, these are available on the New South Wales legislation website. Thank you for listening today, and I hope this information has been useful.